Part number 5, share your videos, part 2. And this is where we tap into full-on advertising architecture and optimizing YouTube ads. Now, for anybody that has been through the YouTube ads workshop, a lot of this will be familiar. And for those who haven't, brace yourselves because we've got a lot to cover. We're going to cover the campaign setup, we're going to cover optimization, and we're going to cover scaling. Hopefully this has been helpful so far. So the advertising architecture structure is, this is the structure that we would typically use. Our goal is going to be conversions. Example, we're looking for leads, we're looking for signups, or we're looking for sales, whatever the case may be. The campaign type, our goal type, is going to be maximize conversions. The number of campaigns we're going to use is 1. In the past, when we could still use keywords, topics, and placements and everything else, we used to set up 5 campaigns, but we can no longer do that. We can only use audiences in conversion campaigns. This was a big update, which kind of it was the catalyst for me putting together this whole training in the first place, was to do an update for our YouTube Ads Magic people. And this video is part of that. I mean, this shift going from like 5 campaigns to 1 campaign, it actually makes things so much easier, because you don't have to create multiple campaigns anymore. But the number of campaigns you're going to create is 1. Just choose one of the audiences, or like I said, if you want to lump them all together, lump them all together. The audiences you set up is all going to be based on the avatar profiling that we did at the very, very beginning. So their 5 favorite movies, their 5 favorite books, their 5 most visited websites, and their 5 their social media influencers. That's going to be formed the basis of our targeting, because we know that that's what they're interested in, that's what they're focusing on, that's what they're searching for, and everything else. The number of ad groups we're going to have is 1. The number of ads is either going to be 5 or 6. And again, one thing I didn't cover is when we have our script, you're going to record your 5 hooks at the beginning with the script, and then you're going to record the body section, which is the engage, educate, and offer section, and then you're going to edit them together, 1 hook onto the body, and then you end up with 6. If you do all 6 hooks, you end up with 6 videos. If you do 5 hooks, you end up with 5 videos. If you do 3 hooks, you end up with 3 videos. Typically, I remember no less than 3 at the beginning, because it allows you to test effectively. And then, if you want to use all 6, you can as well. Minimum daily budget recommended by Google is 5 times to 10 times your ideal cost per lead, or CPA. If you're not willing to pay more than, say, $5 per lead, they recommend 5 times or 10 times that a day, which would be $25 a day or $50 a day. If you're willing to pay $10 a lead, it'd be $50 a day or $100 a day. That's their recommended guidelines. Now, you can get away with running a smaller budget than that, but the results will be a lot slower to come. So we always recommend going with our ideal recommended budget. The placement type is going to be skippable in-stream video ads. And our initial targets that we're looking for is at least a 20% view rate and a 2% click-through rate. Well, a 20% view rate and 2% click-through rate, or plan on, what's going on here? Or plan on reworking the hooks or creative. So again, the audiences that we're creating are going to be either the affinities, in-market audiences, custom affinities, custom URL affinities, custom intent, or custom app affinity. These are the ones that you can create. I recommend starting with the purchase intent ones around the avatar, they're around their profile in terms of their favorite movies, favorite books, social media influencers, and everything else. So I recommend starting there. But that avatar profile, that perfect persona prompting profile, gives you so much information that, like, you have a wealth of information when it comes to your audience. These are extra ones that you can create as well. So, like, let's give an example for, like, the affinity. We can create an affinity audience for one of the books. We can create an in-market audience for the same book. We can create a keyword audience for the book. If that book has a website, we can create a URL affinity audience for that book. Like, we can create a custom intent campaign for that book. And if that book has a related app, we can create an app affinity audience as well for that book. So, like, we can get super, super granular. You don't need to. I just wanted to share some examples of what you could do. If you want to get super granular and go hog wild and create as many audiences as you can, by all means do. The more testing on audiences you do, the better. But you'll have more than enough on those initial 20 audiences based on their top 5 movies, top 5 books, top 5 websites, top 5 social media influencers. So when we're doing a skippable in-stream ad, we can't untick the video partners on a display network, but I'll be showing you a workaround to that in a second, which is going to A pro tip, which is excluding mobile apps and avoid wasted ad spend. So once you have your campaign set up, you can go to exclusions on the underneath placements on the left-hand side. Go to placements, exclusions, select exclude from account, and add in mobile app category semicolon 69500 as a placement exclusion. If any of this is confusing and you're unsure how to do this, in the YouTube Ads Magic Workshop, I show you how to do all of this. I also show you how to set up your conversions in the first place, set up the audiences, and set up a campaign from scratch. So don't worry about any of that if you're unsure of. We'll make sure we get you access to that if you need a little bit extra hand-holding there. And remember to laser target your demographics. Do hone in on age range, parent, and their the household income. If you're selling something more than like $100, normally would recommend unticking the lower 50%. If you're selling like low-end front-end products, I don't mean low-end in terms of quality, but lower end on the price point, lower price point products, you can leave that lower 50% ticked. Pro tip number 7 is exclude these partner sites to avoid wasted ad spend. Again, go to placement exclusions and select exclude from account. These are over 2,000 websites that are used for display ads that we don't want to be running on from a YouTube ads point of view. Google have just lumped into their display network recently for conversion ads. They're generally junk traffic, and we generally just waste ad spend when we utilize them, so we don't use them. So I have a list here of over 2,100 exclusion lists to use. I'll make sure that you get access to that list as well, so you can add them as an exclusion list. Pro tip number 8, like I showed you when we were doing setup, is we exclude TV screens, and we exclude embedded videos, live streaming videos, and games as well. We do cap a view frequency instead of an impression frequency, whether it's, and again, you can choose that depending on the size of your market. This example here, we do 3 views per month, which is slightly less than 1 per week. And a view is typically 30 seconds or longer, or sometimes it's different between what campaign you choose, but typically it's at 30 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds. Pro tip number 10, if shooting talking head style, which is our most recommended, which is essentially what I'm doing here, once you've got some winning ones, you can start, you can shoot your hooks in different locations. So inside at your computer, at your kitchen, outside, walking, in your car, in your sitting room, or whatever the case may be. And once you find winning scripts based on what ChatGPT has produced, you can test those scripts in different formats and present it differently as well. So instead of you recording them, you could get like a spokesperson to record them. You could get a puppet to record them. You could get a AI to record them and test different AI models and everything else like we showed you in My Pipio. That's after you found the winning ones, so not before. So when it comes to optimization, where do we optimize? When it comes to optimizing our YouTube campaigns, the first question we ask is, are we hitting our KPIs? If yes, we are hitting our KPIs in terms of our ideal lead cost is this, or ideal sale cost is this, or ideal opt-in rate is this, or whatever the case may be. If we're hitting our KPIs, we move on to phase number 3. So we skip this phase. If we're not hitting our KPIs, we start with our creatives. Do we have less than a 20% view rate and less than a 2% click-through rate? If we do, we would normally rework our hooks and reshoot our videos. So we would either rework our hooks or ask ChatGPT to produce some more videos, produce more video scripts, or whatever the case may be, and then we would reshoot them and re-upload them. This is obviously very advanced stuff, and this is when we're looking to optimize and really scale out our campaigns. I wanted to cover this with you and give you a full grounding of the overall picture. Like, the main focus of this workshop is to help you script, shoot, and share videos super quickly in mere minutes. How to script a video with ChatGPT, how to shoot it very, very effectively, either using a camera or your phone camera, or even using AI tools, and how you can share it with a very, very straightforward and simple YouTube campaign. This part 5 here is more of an in-depth YouTube campaign structure and optimization structure and scaling structure. You don't need this to start using the script, shoot, share process, but I wanted to give you this so you have the next steps when it comes to actually getting even better results with what I'm sharing with you today. I hope that's clear. When it comes to digging into the data and optimize, this is where YouTube really excels ahead of Facebook. So I like to say that YouTube is like a bonsai tree that needs pruning, and Facebook is like a beast that just needs constantly feeding. And pruning a bonsai tree, like with YouTube, we can really drill into areas like where our ads has showed, what channels it's been showed on, what websites it's been shown on, if we were utilizing websites and so on and so forth. But if there's certain channels that aren't performing well, we can turn them off. If there are ones that are performing well, maybe we can create an audience of those channels, of that channel, and target that audience, that channel and that audience specifically afterwards. So let's say if the channel of the expert that they follow, let's say, or the avatar is following Brené Brown. Maybe Brené Brown has a really popular channel, and when we're doing conversion ads, we can't target that channel directly. We can create an audience of people who are visiting that channel, and then we can still target that in a kind of like roundabout way. So we can dig into where the ads have shown. We can dig into what audiences are performing better than others. Let's say our ideal cost per conversion is $15. We can turn off audiences that are performing above that, or, you know, typically what we do in terms of turning off audiences, if the audience is performing 2 times, has spent 2 times or 3 times our ideal cost per lead or cost per conversion and hasn't generated a sale, we would normally turn it off. If it's gotten conversions and starts to get out of our range, typically we would do we essentially have to set our KPIs at the beginning. So normally what we would do is that if our cost per lead is $15 and we're getting conversions and we go slightly above, we would normally turn it off. But if anytime we go over, say, like a 60% above our ideal cost per lead, that's when we would start to turn off audiences as well. Obviously, we can dig into our demographics and see what demographics are performing better than the others, what household incomes are performing better than others as well. Again, this is all super advanced stuff. This isn't necessary for you to get going with the script, shoot, share process. Again, I just wanted to share the full overall picture so you're clear on what like eventually optimizing and scaling looks like for your business when it comes to running YouTube ads. And then when it comes to scaling, our goal is to get, first and foremost, to get 1,000 conversions or 1,000 leads. And then what we do is we're going to take our best campaign and our best creatives and then relaunch a new campaign based off of that. But our initial goal is to get 1,000 conversions. And that's typically like what the Google reps and the Google specialists say, that in Google say in terms of how, when the algorithm really starts to find its feet. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be getting results until you get that. You should be getting results pretty quickly, or once you have everything set up correctly. But once you get 1,000 conversions, this is where you can really start to utilize a lot of other components of the Google Ads and the YouTube Ads platform. So when you have a winning campaign, do not break it. Usually it's best to never touch it unless you're just raising the budget. Pay attention to Google's limited by budget warning only when all of your other KPIs are in favor. Like, they'll tell you to increase your budget if they think they're getting you good results, regardless if you're actually getting good results or not. So only pay attention to that when your KPIs are in their favor. When you have a winning campaign, when you want to make some changes, you want to duplicate your winning campaign, then test any changes to ads, copy, audiences, demographics, etc. in a sandbox campaign, which is a secondary campaign, so you're not breaking what's working. Hopefully that makes sense. And then once you're scaling past 1,000 conversions, start to tap into Google's arsenal. You can start to unlock more scale in winning campaigns by introducing Google Display, Google Display Network retargeting, ad-specific, video-specific retargeting, YouTube channel retargeting, Gmail retargeting, and more, even bringing in like things like Facebook retargeting as well. It opens up so much possibility for you.